Turning to a major development in the DOJ criminal probe of January 6th and a Beat exclusive. Trump White House aide Peter Navarro has spoken about his plot to keep Trump in office, a failed quest that sparked two different investigations that have now hit him with subpoenas. It's a standoff that started slowly and then exploded this week.
Peter Navarro says he has been subpoenaed by federal prosecutors to testify before a grand jury.
The Department of Justice investigation into the events leading up to January 6th is ramping up.
Peter Navarro pushing back on attempts to try to get him to testify. In fact, he's filing a lawsuit today in D.C. court.
This certainly marks an escalation as they actually start going at people who were in the White House.
Is there criminal exposure for people higher up, masterminds, people who are trying to do this stuff? The Navarro news seems significant in that respect.
It is significant in precisely that legal respect, because Navarro's gone from a Trump official to a January 6th potential witness to a defiant witness to being held in contempt of Congress to this week's news. DOJ prosecutors serving him a new criminal subpoena in their inquiry. Now, that's not only the most serious legal move against Navarro, who became more well-known from openly discussing his January 6 plans, including on this program. It's also the most serious legal move towards investigating the insurrection that involves anyone, let me repeat, anyone in the entire Trump White House. The New York Times emphasizing in its new reporting this week that this is the Justice Department's first known subpoena for someone who worked in the Trump White House. That's a big deal. The new subpoena for Navarro is the strongest evidence that the DOJ is widening its probe to examine the activities and records of people who worked directly for Trump, as the Washington Post reported, and Politico, stating flatly this subpoena that I'm telling you about that's in the news tonight is, quote, the most aggressive known step that prosecutors have taken into Trump's West Wing, a point the AP also makes. Every major news outlet hitting this point. Now, before this news broke of the subpoena, there was no indication whether this Justice Department was ever going to go up the line to question, let alone potentially prosecute, Trump White House officials for a role in either the insurrection or the related and potentially linked attempt to steal the election by other governmental means. Now, we know this DOJ is demanding Navarro cooperate by a deadline of today or face consequences. News cameras were staked out all day in front of a D.C. district court to see if Navarro would come in for today's deadline. The shot you see might look relatively ordinary, cars on a street, but it's outside the place where the grand jury meets and where this might have happened. There were no public sightings that we know of, as people kept an eye out for this White House witness who's now one of the most important people for getting information, not according to the media, not according to him, not according to me, but according to the Justice Department of the United States. And Mr. Navarro just filed a new lawsuit of his own against the House January 6 committee. Now, to have a grand jury like this, DOJ has to be investigating a crime. And based on what we know, it is a crime that they think Navarro may know about. And while Mr. Navarro did speak out about his work to overthrow Biden's victory, he has not actually done a major TV interview since being held in contempt of Congress, nor since getting this subpoena from the Justice Department until now. Peter Navarro, former Trump White House advisor, joins us for this exclusive. Thanks for joining me.
Hey, Ari. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks. We want to get to your lawsuit, and I will reserve time for it. But given the news first, can you tell us, did you cooperate or comply with this deadline in the grand jury subpoena today?
Well, first of all, let's fact check and de-escalate the rhetoric just a bit here. The subpoena I received, which I did distribute to the media, did not compel my testimony. All the subpoena did was ask for the documents broadly construed, which the January 6th committee had asked for. That's all we know at this point. I'm in negotiations, discussions with them about that. Having said that, Ari, I agree with you
Let's
that this
pause
was a
there.
serious escalation.
I'll let you
Yeah.
continue, but you're making some news. As of today, you are discussing with the Justice Department turning over those records?
No, what I did was there. Let me say this very carefully. I have responded to the Justice Department, and there will be ongoing interactions on that to be determined. Let's let that process take its course.
One follow-up, and then I will let the process.
Sure.
One follow-up, and then I'll let the process go. And
Yes.
I respect that there is a process there.
Sure.
Are you currently offering them any evidence or material? Or when you say response, are you telling them in so many words, no?
Let's talk about the bigger issue now, because that is the essence of my response.